Let's see if we're working. Okay. Looks like we're working to me, which is pretty darn good. So, I was up to midnight last night, hobbying on stuff, trying to get stuff done so I can play myself a game of Deadman's Hand. Didn't quite get there, to be honest. I got sidetracked making new miniatures, if I'm completely honest, with some of the stuff I 3D printed. So, didn't quite get there to play today. So, it looks like we're going to be on for playing next weekend instead. Because I got kind of sucked into working on some of the new heads and stuff that I had made and 3D printed, and kind of wanted to work on some of that today and show off some of that 3D printed stuff, and finish up a couple pieces of the terrain. Maybe we'll paint a cow, something like that. I also started working on the second building, that, you know, because we haven't showed off the buildings. So yesterday I just streamed, just really because I really just wanted to, right, to work on this building here. And so she's coming along pretty good. All right, looking pretty good. Really, I just kind of wanted to work on the hobby and talk about it and stuff as I did, you know. Got some dog hair in there, but this was our progress from yesterday, minus the wash, because there's a light wash on the floor, because I wanted the inside floorboards to be different from the outside duct boards. So it's a nice little wash on the floor and on the roof, and on the metal. But everything else is the same stuff we did on stream yesterday. Oh, and I put down some texture paste too. So, and then yesterday I started on this guy, and I fucking love this color. I think it's so good. It's pretty good. So we'll work on him some more today. But I want to show off some of the 3D printed stuff that I printed up for this. So if we come back to our little jailhouse here, our little sheriff's hut again, I printed up some terrain for it. So we're going to paint it all independently, and then it's going to go in the building. But jail cell's going to have a bed, and then I've got a little like desk here for the sheriff. The sheriff's going to get a little chair, right? Then maybe I'll put some stuff on the desk, but I don't know yet. Then I've got another chair for over here for like maybe a visitor. And I've got some of these little paintings, and we can boop those right on the wall and really get this like looking really cool, right? Get a lot of cool kind of little effects and stuff in there. And then even with the what's it called, there's still a lot of room for the minis on the inside of the building, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so it's pretty sweet. I like the terrain stuff a lot. I think it adds a lot to the little building. And you could probably like not glue it down if you wanted, but I'm probably going to glue mine down, because in my brain, like, this is the sheriff's building, right? It's got the jail in it and stuff. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. They're pretty sweet little bits of terrain. This building's going to be the like general store, so it's going to have like a big counter and a whole bunch of shelves and stuff inside of it. So that one's going to be like the more general store, which will be pretty cool. I haven't 3D printed that stuff yet. And then I got some more minis done. So you got to finish up their bases today, but we got this cow lady who's actually a fox lady. Then we got this cow guy that's actually a fox guy. Girl, I like him. I think he's like a knight. I think he's got like a cool desperado kind of pose. I think that's pretty badass. And then I did this ferret or weasel lady here. So they'll join Mr. Weasel, who's there with his double guns blazing, pow, 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 and his fucking gigantic hat. But I think it's kind of funny he has a big hat. It reminds me of the weasels from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So yeah, so I got all those done and started working on some of the terrain. I started doing clump foliage on these trees. I will say PVA glue does not work very good for that. So I made a couple little trees. So I have to get some tacky glue. Because I hear tacky glue works really, really good. And I thought this was tacky glue. It's not. It's just really runny PVA glue. So yeah, so I didn't get to do foliage on the trees yet. But we got that tree. And we got this tree. So yeah, pretty cool. I kind of want to go out to that hobby shop and pick up some more trees at some point, but I haven't gone there yet. Alright, so let's look at some of the other 3D printed stuff that I was working with last night. So, I had a bad week. I had a very bad week. And I hate to say it, but when I have a bad week, I tend to impulse buy stuff. Thankfully, most of the shit I want is not very expensive. So I spent like $25 and I got myself these guys one night. On Wednesday night, because I was having an extremely bad night. So I got myself these guys. This is the Ghost Archipelago crewman set. And it's a bunch of kind of like more piratey or kind of like more ethnic kind of like clothing minis. But the really nice thing is they make, you know, they're North Star military figures too, so they interact really well with the cowboy sprues, right? Like you can mix and match really good. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to have some more like maybe like immigrant kind of like gear and clothes and stuff. Instead of just everybody dressed like a cowboy, I thought it might add some cool variety. So, you get 4 of these sprues in the box. Every one of these has 5 things. This box was like $25, so it means that every mini is like $1.10. So it's really freaking good deal, and they're really nice minis. I really love these North Star miniature figures minis. They're so good. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff on here. There's a crossbow, some swords, a couple regular bows. There's this big like tomahawk axe. There's a bill hook. You got some scimitars. You got some hand axes. You got all kinds of cool stuff, right? But it's less like cowboy pistol and more like, you know, maybe this guy's like a migrant miner who's been brought in, or maybe, you know, he's like Native American descent, you know, something like that. So it's kind of cool. It adds some neat variety to the minis for Cowboy Land. So I put together 5 of those. So here's a badger with a little hand axe. Come on. Thank you. So there's a badger with a little hand axe and a pistol. And you can see I've got little badger tails. I fucking love the badger head. It came out so good. That's from Goon Master Games. And I just cut it off the miniature and shrunk it down. So if you do that as well, if you cut the heads off Goon Master miniature minis, shrink the head to 60% for men and 50% for women. And you'll get a really nice, like this is a 60% head. It looks really good. So I got one of those. I've got this squirrel who's got all these like kind of native gear. Little axes with feathers, a big axe with some feathers. I wanted to do a coyote with a bow, so I thought that would be kind of cool. It's kind of like a animal I kind of associate with like Native Americans, so I thought it'd be kind of neat. And then we've got a raccoon with a pistol and a dagger, and he's got a pouch because of course the raccoon's going to be a thief, right? Like he's got to be. That's me being all animal racist over here. And we got this old goat. I really like this hand carrying the saddlebags. I've used this on other minis, so his little tail. I didn't do a super good job sculpting his tail, but I thought maybe he'd be like, you know, like kind of like reaching for his gun. I don't know if that like super came out well, but it's kind of what I was thinking with that pose. So, and then I put some heads on some of the other ones we've done before. So we got a raccoon cultist. We've got a badger with a single shot shotgun. We've got. Did I use a badger head for that? I did. We got a badger with some dynamite. A big fucking set of dynamite that is. I really like this mini. That one's really good. And then I've got a goat cult leader who's actually missing an ear, but I thought that kind of gave him some personality, to be honest. So, yeah, thought that was pretty cool. That's the goat cult leader. Oh, and then we have this raccoon with the breach action. It's cool shit. Cool shit. So yeah, so that's what I ended up getting caught up doing last night instead of finishing up the stuff so I could actually play. Because I have enough I could play right now, but I really like to, you know, playing a game for me, a lot of it is like part of the spectacle, right? Like having the table and the board and the, like, you know, the mats and all that stuff, right? So playing with unpainted minis and stuff kills me a little bit. I really like to have like a fully painted set because a lot of it's a spectacle to me. So yeah, that's what I end up working with instead of finishing a couple guys to play the game. Oh, and I also printed out some heads for my custodes. This is going to be, they all have bear heads. This is going to be my quote unquote mama bear unit of all lady custodes. That was a funny idea. But you can't tell because they're in gigantic armor, which is also kind of the point. But yeah. So I never actually like went out and bought custodes. They just came in one of those battle boxes from GW. I really wanted the other guys out of the box, but I was like, you know, you get the custodes for like $10 or something when you sorted it out. So I was like, it's fine. I'll get the custodes too. So yeah, now I'm actually really excited to build them. So I don't know, man. Sometimes that pile of shame, like, it comes back to you. Like these cultist bodies, these are actually from some of the first miniatures I ever bought. I got these at Games and Stuff in Maryland. And I bought these right before I moved to Hawaii, so God, a while ago. And man, yeah, legitimately, like I kept one of the sprues. I didn't use it because I was trying to do stuff for Frostgrave at the time, and I was like, oh yeah, that's really cool. I'll keep one of the sprues in case I ever need it in the future. I mean, it came back, and it's great. I fucking love it for the Cowboys. Whew. All right. So what are we gonna do? Well, we got a couple of things we should do today. So first off, we are going to break out a lot of dry brushing. Dry brushing is in our future today. And then I think we're going to paint a cow, because I think the cow will work really good. These are the cows, by the way. Oh, these are from Morgan Atlantic. They are part of their 3D print line actually for this month. So if you back them for May, you get these cows. I sculpted some nuts on them and a little donger because they didn't have those, and that's kind of weird to me. This one's nuts are better sculpted. This one's nuts are kind of all chewed up. It's okay. They'll look good when they're painted. But yeah. All right, so I made some progress on some of the little scatter bits and on the building and on some bases. So we're going to break out some dry brush first. All right. So breaking out the Vallejo khaki, because all these bases and all this terrain and stuff, I'm also doubling it up so I can use it for Fallout, right? So the point is it's going to have a lot of different uses, which is pretty cool. Oh, we got some doggers to paint too. I forgot. Maybe we'll paint a doggo. Yeah, we'll paint a doggo. I actually put, these are from the terrain sprues, but I actually put 2 of them together because I want one for my Marines for bolt action. I think it would just be cool to have, like, you know, a dog with my Marine company, like some kind of good boy. Alright, I'm just loading my brush up with some tan, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of hit this here, and it's going to maybe get on the miniatures a little, and that's fine. But the goal is to just get a little bit of other color besides the, like, the dirt brown. Alright. It's not going to be perfect, I know that. But that's fine, it's the ground, right? So yeah, just going to hit it with a little bit. It makes it look a little drier than just like being like pure mud, right? And I like that. I think it adds some kind of like cowboy-y color to it, which is good. No, just a little bit of dry brushing. There we go. There we go. You can see this one here has got the steamer trunks, it's got some kind of parcel, and then it's got this like milk jug. This milk jug is chainmail silver, and then I stippled on some of this fresh rust so you can kind of see it. This paint's really cool. It's like a texture paint rust thing, and then I hit it with the Vallejo, or not Vallejo, the Pro Acryl brown wash, just to, because I think the milk jug looks really good. So I just wanted to share how I did that. All right, so let's do these guys' bases too, and we'll move on to the big house. Soup, soup, soup. Soup, 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 soup. You can see these minis all have pudding bases, which means that there's like a chunk under the feet, but that's okay. When we put grasses and stuff on here, you won't be able to see it anymore. It just still stands out a little with the texture paste because I didn't like super layer up the texture paste. And I'm not afraid of hitting these people's boots and stuff because, like, you know, they're cowboys. Their shit's going to be old and beat. So they're going to have some of this crap on their boots. Right? 'Cause maybe the brown here is like the dusty color. So yeah, the next step for these guys, and my plan is that we will get to this today, will be to do flocks and stuff on them. Flocks and grasses and stuff. So, alright, nice. I'm actually going to paint the rims of their bases really quick, as I've been doing that in the same color, and then we'll dry brush the building too. So I've been doing the rims in the same color as the dust. I think it looks nice. It's interesting. I used to, like, in my brain, I was like, oh no, they're like game pieces. They have to have black rims. But to be honest, I actually really like doing rims that kind of like match the tone, I guess, of the miniature. Or like blend in completely as the base. I think doing the Kings of War minis actually is what got me to like that, to be honest, because they all have the purple bases, and the base just kind of extends forever. It looks really neat, and I don't know. I went from not liking that at all to being like, oh yeah, that's great. So yeah, I've been trying to do that kind of with like all of them now. Some kind of like variation. There we go. Yeehaw. And then once these are all dry, we'll do some grass on them. So I think that'll probably be the last thing we do today. We got a lot to do before that though. I did start priming the roofs too, so these buildings will have roofs. And there we go. All three of their bases all done. All right, now let's move over to this sucker. Let's do his base. So same thing for him because I want him to blend in, right? So just like kind of dry brushing just all over these bits. I already dry brushed the woods, so in retrospect I could have just done all that at the same time, but didn't think about it, so. Yeah, so it just adds a nice little bit. Makes it look dirtier, makes it look drier, I guess. All right. Just going down like that. Did we run out right at the end? Yes, we did. That's annoying. Bonk, 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 bonk. So yeah, and I've done like a whole like video series on this cowboy game after getting this set for my birthday. In fairness, I've done a ton of hobby like 3D printing and actually editing 3D files and stuff for it, so I can make myself bullets and badgers. That's such a good name. Essentially. So, alright, so now all these guys that have been dry brushed, they just gotta wait a little bit, and then we'll hit them with flocks and they'll be pretty dope. So I'm gonna put them off to the side. Let's paint a doggo, I guess, because the doggo's gonna be a couple steps. And then we'll paint one of the cows, I guess. So this is Dark Sun Yellow by Two Thin Coats. I got this paint when I was in Montana, I think. There's actually a store there that sold it. Which is pretty cool. Just because it was neat to see, you know? And they're pretty decent paints. I do think the Army Painter Fanatic War Paints are still my favorite. They're really good. I like a lot of Vallejo colors though too. I don't know. All the paints are different. As long as it's not Citadel, I'm happy. Because man, those pots dry out so goddamn quick in Hawaii. It is insane. Yeah. The nice thing about this doggo is he doesn't have a ton of details. Like he's got all the details a dog should have, but like, you know, he's not like covered in pouches and buckles and right. So pretty awesome. Oh look, it's so easy. We're gonna do two. Double the doggo. Boop 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 boop. That's the doggo bait music. In case you're wondering. It'd be fair to wonder, right, what the boop 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 noise is, but it's the doggo painting soundtrack. Yep. Alright, so he's gonna get a couple coats of this yellow. Ironically, he's going to need two thin coats. And then he's going to get some washes, and then he's going to get some dry brushing. And in the end, we should have a pretty awesome looking doggo. So, all right, let's pick a cow. Yeah, we'll pick this cow. Yeah, we'll do this one. This is a Highland cow. So he's got the cutie little hair in front of his eyes. I think I want this one to be... I'm really into this freaking color, man. I'm so into this goddamn color. It's ridiculous. Like, I'm painting everything in this color. The chickens I painted are in this color. All the, like, pants and stuff are in this color. Fucking love this color. So we're going to do our cow in this color, too. And then what we're going to do is probably tone him with some different, like, washes, maybe we'll do it with washes, maybe we'll do it with dry brushing, so maybe he'll get what we're going to do to the doggo. Maybe he'll get a wash and then a dry brush as well. So they do have all kinds of different cows in this pack, by the way, if you back Wargames Atlantic this month. So you get 2 boy cows. You got to sculpt the junk on them yourselves, unfortunately. You get 2 girl cows that I think actually have udders already. And you get 2 like little calves. So really it's way more than enough cows than you'll probably ever need. I had some space on one of the things and I was like, man, it'd be cool to have a couple cows. You know, I mean, it's Wild West, right? Like, there's cattle and, like, that makes sense, right? So I was like, yeah, I'll paint up some cattle. Thought that'd be fun to have, like, I don't know, walking around the town or something, you know? Or like out behind one of the buildings, maybe they're like grazing or something. I don't know. They seemed fitting for the fitting for the, like, the setting, you know? Where's that? There it is. So it's like, okay, we'll do some cows. Oh. Plus, I thought they might be cool, like, moving cover. Like, you know, she would get cover from being behind the cow, someone shot at her kind of thing. I thought that would be kind of cool, so. Maybe they move in random directions every game. Thought that might be a fun role. So I've been trying to figure out, some of Deadman's Hand is kind of secret. What I mean by that is that some of the rules and stuff are about keeping info from your opponent. And that's cool. I like that, but it makes it hard to play by yourself. So I've been trying to figure out how to adapt some of that. And what I think I'm going to end up doing is just using like an AI set to control the enemies, and then maybe do something like they just don't get actions and my guys are the heroes and they get the special actions, or I don't know, maybe they draw from an action deck instead. And I do like making like an action deck for AI for the enemy would be kind of fitting for a game called Deadman's Hand. You know what I mean? So I was thinking about doing that maybe. But I don't know. Haven't gotten there 100% yet, you know? Just thinking about ideas though. So like maybe it's like a set of, I don't know. Oh, fixing my belt. maybe it's a set of cards and you flip them over, and you know, if you pull like an ace or something, they get like 3 actions or something instead, right? Maybe, you know, if it's a king, they get like a +1 to their bonus or something. Something to add some kind of like variety. But I do like the idea of playing with like an actual deck of cards, maybe for the AI. Maybe making like an AI table. I thought that might be kind of neat. All right, let's look at our boy here. So what did I do here? Pretty much same stuff as last time. So started stippling the building and then started to stipple the inside. I didn't get to the floor here. I did the windows in that brown, and I started to work on the door, but the door needs some love still. So first off, we're going to work on the door just because it needs some touch up, and then we'll figure out what color we want to paint the floor in here, because I don't want this floor to be the same color as the other floor. I don't want them all the buildings just have brown floors, even though they all are just wood. So I'm just gonna cover the door a little bit better. I'm not looking for like perfect amazing coverage, but you can really see the brown in it right now. I don't like that. So did not do a super good job getting the first base coat of this door down. Go. And I'm just going to do the other thing to the same thing to the other side. All right. Cool. I think I missed a part on this door. I did on the edge there, so we'll hit that too. Saw this earlier. It was triggering me, so I'm going to get rid of that. And then a similar problem here. So basically, because the stuff got in the way of my stippling, there ended up being like a little line. And I was not a fan, so I wanted to get rid of it. Okay. All right. What color should we do the base, the floor in here? This building could have a white floor. Could have a tan floor. We got mocha for the walls and the windows. We could do like a green floorboard. Or maybe like a blue floor, or maybe like a gray floor. You know, maybe we just see if there's a different kind of brown I could use. Let's see what I got. Give me a sec. Whoa! Speak of the devil. Man, it must be like 2 thin coats the day. So we got some boar hide here from 2 thin coats. We'll pop that out. This should give a really red kind of floor, which I think will be kind of neat. So out of my buildings, we have this one's green. The police station is red, or sheriff's office, same difference. I mean, the sheriff's office is blue. The brothel's going to be red. And then, whoa, that is really red. Kind of neat, though. Yeah, so the brothel's going to be red. The police station's blue. This building's green. And that leaves me with one more building. And that building, I think I'm either going to make it like a post office or like a lawyer's office kind of thing. Like maybe like the mayor office, something like that. Or like the leader of like the mining facility that's nearby or something. So I do want to print out a little mine entrance for this. So man, that paint's really thin. Look, you can actually see the mocha underneath of it. Ooh, 2 thin coats indeed, my man. 2 thin coats indeed. The color is nice though. It's very like red. I think if once I put a brown wash over it, it'll look really cool. It's definitely going to need multiple coats. But yeah, so it leaves me with one more building to decide what I want it to be. And I think I'm leaning to some kind of like office, right? So I can actually use the like the inside walls, because all these buildings actually come with inside walls. But I just haven't found a good building that really fits the like idea of having an inside wall with a door. So I'm thinking maybe the maybe like a lawyer's office or something would have like a receptionist in the front, and then the office would be in the back behind the door. I think that might be kind of fitting, you know? Sorry, my brain had to focus there. Because I ordered man, back's killing me all of a sudden. I ordered a double-decker building, and I'm waiting to build a third building till I get that. So I'm going to use pieces from that and mix it with the third building. Because these plastic cowboy buildings are awesome, but they don't have a lot of like variation and stuff. If I'm completely honest, I wish they sold a like variation sprue for this, or like even if it came with one, right? That would include things like maybe a front with a door in a different place, or a different front door, or a different signage for the top, right? I think if there was like one more sprue that had that kind of stuff, like that kind of variation in this building, I think this building would be probably like one of the coolest pieces of plastic terrain that's out there. Because otherwise they're going to be kind of samey. But that's the power of also color. And one of the reasons I put the bases on these is because, you know, it really distinguishes the buildings from each other. It adds a lot, I think. So if you have cowboy buildings, would highly recommend you do the same thing I did here in the 3 videos ago, and you add these like little fronts and backs to them, so you can put all the little scatter terrain on there, and it's really cool. And it also lets you like connect the duck boards somewhere, all that kind of stuff. So if you haven't seen that, I would recommend going and watching it, because I did it one of the previous videos, basically from start to finish. Yeah, it has occurred to me now that I have completely done one of these cowboy videos. Like, as far as I've gotten it done, I've recorded every single step so far, which I'm going to be honest is pretty darn cool. I could probably edit it into like one big how to paint your cowboy buildings kind of video, but I do like making standalone videos, and I'm going to make one later actually today. That's entirely topic focused, right? I do that for a lot of my unboxings these days. I think they work really well as standalone videos versus as live streams. So I've got this to unbox later. So I'm going to make a standalone video for this. This is Clash of Steel, Americans versus Soviets. It's a whole bunch of little tanks. Whoa. I must have punched my camera there. Sorry for that random Dom Trumpin interception. But yeah, it's just a bunch of really weird tanks, which is pretty cool. So we'll open that up later as like a standalone video. So, alright, so that floor's got to dry a little. While that dries, I think we can probably... Still a tiny bit tacky. I think it'll probably be okay. Well, alright, let's give it a couple more minutes. I don't think it'll hurt anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flock those. And if the miniature's damp, right, it'll just grab the flocking right away. Even if... Oh, this is the one I hadn't opened yet. Shit, where's the open one? Even if there's no glue or anything, it'll just suck the flocking up. And it might get stuck there, and that would be really obnoxious to have like flocking on like the rim of the base and stuff. So really don't want to do that if I can avoid it. So this is Vallejo metallic chainmail, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit the rims on the barrels. So yeah, get a couple different barrel sizes in the starter box, which is pretty cool. This one might be a little blurry. It's really tall. There we go. Yeah, you get a couple different barrel sizes. So out back of this building, I put barrel and son of barrel, because I just thought it was a nice little like thing to have out back of this general building. I showed off the chicken coop I did a bunch last time, but I'm also going to do some other kind of like outside buildings. So I'm going to do a shit house. So there's going to be an outhouse. I'm going to start 3D printing that tonight, and I'm going to do like a mine entrance. Because, you know, a thing I really like about this setting is all the mysticism and like horror kind of themes that are in this time. There's a lot of like folklore and that kind of stuff. So I think a lot of that, you know, like dark unknown places feed into a lot of that. So I really like the idea of having a mine. I could do something like, you know, big bugs coming out of the mine, or fucking like Cthulhu monsters or something. You know, I feel like there's a lot of like little story hooks and stuff you can do with a mine. So we're gonna do that. All right, let's see. This thing here also has a metal handle. It's like a little like water or feed bucket. Whoop. Now, if you were smart, you would probably paint these independently and then glue them down, as opposed to gluing them down like I have, because I was excited. So if you're smart, you'll do that versus what I did. And you got these hitching posts here, and we'll hit these with another color too, because this brown that they are right now is the brown from the spray can, and I don't actually have a if I screw up, I don't actually have a way to fix that right now, so they need to be made another brown so that I can fix errors. Because I always make errors, right? Everyone makes errors. To err is human, right? So I'll have to repaint those so I can clean up the couple little nicks and stuff I just did. But that's fine. I wanted to do that anyway, because I want them to stand out from the duck boards. Okay. Well, that's all the silver we need for these pieces. What I'm going to do is going to probably be a little weird. I'm going to take this. This is Vallejo Ultramarine Blue. And I'm going to actually paint the inside of these containers. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because I want these containers to look like they have water in them. And if I paint them, it's not going to look like it has water in it. It's just going to look like the inside is blue. However, after I prime this, I'm sorry, not prime, after I top coat this, because I top coat all of my terrain, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and do several layers of gloss Mod Podge on the inside of this. And what's going to happen is it's going to look like there's water in here. And it's going to look super, super cool. I've done this for a couple other things where I needed water, and it looked really good. I cannot recommend using several layers of gloss Mod Podge as water. It works really well. A lot better than like pouring resin, in my opinion. Especially the resin, especially this stuff, because this stuff is actually latex based, and it shrinks really bad, and it also gets not cloudy, it gets like not clear after a long enough period of time. So I can't not recommend that enough. I really don't like that water texture. So 0 out of 10 for that. But what I do really like is multiple level layers of stippled on gloss Mod Podge. So I think it looks super cool. Alright. Let's hit this floor again, and then I think our guys will probably be dry enough for flocking. I'm probably going to accidentally hit the walls, so I can go back and clean those up. This is like redwood. But, I mean, you know, maybe my guys are closer to something like Washington or Seattle kind of area where you would have a lot of grass and stuff than, say, something like, I don't know, New Mexico. Right? Because you'd have, like, it's my understanding, I'm probably wrong in this, but it's my understanding is that you would have these kind of, like, little Wild West towns, like, basically everywhere in the West. Like anywhere people had like stretched out to, you would see this kind of stuff popping up, especially if there was like a railway and stuff. You'd see this kind of thing popping up everywhere. That's my understanding of it, but I could be wrong there, but like I think that's how these towns worked. Like I think you would have probably even seen like versions of this in some places that they were just expanding. Like there's a mining town up in Pennsylvania that's like constantly on fire because the mine's on fire. So it's like all blocked off, but even it has like these old style buildings. Not like this, but it has, I don't know. It has still very old style buildings. So, you know, maybe my cowboys are in somewhere a little less deserty, a little more tree-y. Alright, we're going to set her down. Let's check our guys. So I would like to do some flocking today. Oh, we got to do the dogs too. Shit. Let's do the dogs. Man, I'm all over the place. Gonna break out our yellow again. We're gonna paint our doggos. I forgot about our doggos. Got all wrapped up in the terrain. See, this is what happens, right? Like, last night I sat down to work on the rest of my cowpokes so I could put some teams together. Nope, totally got wrapped up into all the stuff I had 3D printed and putting those guys together, and right? Totally just got sucked into it. So, yeah. There we go. Alright. Coat number 2 on golden number 1. And then coat number 2 on best boy number 2. Really, we'll call him best boy number 1 because all best boys are number 1. There we go. Okay, now they sit again. I guess we can work on our cow too some, huh? One sec. We need this color. I also need a pink. There we go. These are the 2 colors I need for the cow. Before we do washes, because I've got to do horns on the cows, and then I have to do the cow's junk. And the cows don't have furry balls. Very few things actually have hair on their balls, but that's so you can lift and descend your scrotum, so your body can modify the temperature to increase sperm production. And if you had really hairy balls, that would be harder because they would always be hot. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk about testicles. There we go. Now you can get good cow action. There we go. I also need that color to paint the ball color to paint the dog's tongues. So, excuse me, Jesus, where the hell did that come from? Now, when you're painting horns, animal horns tend to start, when they're growing, they tend to start out like black, and they get like the bone color as they age. If you think about the Monster Hunter monster Nergigante, same kind of thing. But it means that horns and stuff tend to like be darker at the tips because of that. However, that generally is opposite of what we want as mini painters, because really you want the lightest color to be near your model's like face. because you'll draw your eye to it, right? And sort of like part of their personality and part of recognizing the miniature like as a character is sort of having that defined center mass, that defined face. So I tend to actually paint my horns backwards, and I tend to do the darker color. Wait, no, maybe I have that backwards. Yes, I do. I'm sorry. That's my backwards. That's my backwards. They start off yellow and then get black. So the darker pieces... No? What am I trying to say? You want to paint the inside of the horns yellow, like horn color. You want the tips to be black. That's opposite of how real horns are. Why are you blurry, Mr. Cow? Thank you. Real horns are the opposite way around. It has to do with how the horns grow and stuff. But you want the lighter color near the face. So this is Kobold Skin from Army Painter. This color is discontinued. They now have variants of it that are really close to it, but it is a discontinued color. This is my ball color. Yeah, this is the one I use for nuts quite a bit. I also use this for things like tongues, inside of mouths, all that kind of stuff. Because that, I don't know, I feel like this is a really good, like, soft tissue color, right? And those are all soft tissue kind of things. I use it for, like, gums and stuff like that as well. And I do use it as skin color as well, but I do feel like it's a better soft tissue color than anything else. There we go. Alright, his nuts are all painted. Let's give him a little butthole, because he's a cow and he has a butthole. There we go. And we'll do the same thing for this other cow. Paint his nuts in and give him a butthole too. This cow must be colder than the other cow. Okay, and then we'll do a butthole. Boop. There we go. All right, now I'm going to get some of this paint off my brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do his nose. And I'm just kind of trying to not get like a ton of paint on it. I just want a little bit of paint. Just so I can get like the nose. Because his nose is also soft tissue and it's not going to be covered in fur. The like tip of his nose is not, so we could also do like the inside of his ears like this if we wanted. Because they will probably also not have fur in them, at least in the inner part, like in this part here. Will probably not have fur. So just add a little bit of detail to him. Go. And there we go. All right, cool. All right. That's our cows. Ready for washes now. So what they're going to do is they're going to get washes, and then over like the back and face here, I'm going to do a darker brown dry brush. And that's what I'm going to do for that. All right, now we got to paint in our dog's tongues. Here we go. They've got little tongues there in their mouths. And do their noses too while we're here. Oh, I should probably do the hooves on the cows too, huh? Alright. Yeah, the dogs can have furry balls. Should probably also give the dogs buttholes, but it's okay. Okay, fuck it. It's gonna bug me if I don't do it. So, because they're a living animal, and they have these pieces, because all animals do. I talk about this a lot, but did you know the original? Oh wow, that dog has a fucking terrible seam line going down his back. Jesus. Holy shit. The original God of War actually had entirely anatomically correct monsters. Yeah, it's really cool. And they got rid of it because it weirded people out too much. Alright, I'm sorry, doggo. I know you've been primed and everything, but this seam line's gonna kill me, my man, if I don't take care of it. So I did not see this when I was getting him ready for paint. So he's gonna have to basically get completely repainted. Oh god, don't tell me the other doggo has a seam line like this and I just didn't see it. Oh man, I hope not. Oh dude. Fuck. Okay. Alright, well the doggos aren't going to get done today. So I'm basically having to start over on the doggos because of the seam line. That looked really bad. And I just did not see it at all until right now. So, there we go. Well, seam line's gone, but got to start over on the doggos basically. You really like focusing on these bottles, don't you? Why are you doing that? Alright. I guess let's paint the hooves on the cows. And then I think after that we'll probably do we'll probably do our flocking and then call it, to be honest. Because I really wanted to do some flocking today. Alright, this is dark neutral gray, as I just exploded the lid everywhere. This is dark neutral gray from Pro Acryl. It's a really good dark gray. 10 out of 10. Wood dark gray again. Pro Acryl lids suck, by the way, but their paints are really nice. So, man, I like really broke that. Okay. Interesting. Okay. But I like this gray a lot. It works really good for like German jackboots or like German gear in general. It works really good basically anytime you want a black, but you still want it to have some detail. There's a lot of these a lot of this, like when you're painting black and stuff and you hit it with a wash, like you just never see it, right? The black just eats all of the detail. So I like this because it's just a really dark gray, but it's black enough that I can use it in place of black, but gray enough that you can see the details, which I think is really nice. All right. So the next step for these cows is to hit them with a brown wash, and then I'm going to dry brush their backs and heads with sort of different brown, probably a darker brown. And that should pull some of the colors out for them. Some of like the detail in the fur and stuff. And then after that, they get a... I was going to do it on the tip of the tail. They're going to get some Cygor brown on the tips of the horns, which is like a really dark brown contrast paint. So they're going to get that on the tips of the horns after that. All right, well, let's put our failed doggos to the side. We'll move our cows back, so we're not going to get to work on them or finish them up today on stream, because I am running out of juice. So I'm going to get my box here out. We're going to move to a higher camovation, and I'm going to pull out my flocking, which I actually already had out apparently. All right, so this is blended turf from Woodland Scenics. This bottle was like $15. I've used this on like 5 different armies already and tons of terrain. Look how little is gone. So this stuff lasts for fucking forever. As long as you're not doing like an entire board of it, you're going to have it like legitimately forever. So, all right, what are we going to do? We're going to take some Elmer's glue. Right here, and the irony is I was just painting a cow. And I'm going to bop it out onto a palette. Slightly off screen. And then I'm going to take a knackered ass beat up brush that I totally have right here. Okay, that'll do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stipple some glue around. Now, if you want amazing adhesion, you can mix this with like alcohol and all this stuff. I've never found that I needed that because I also top coat all my miniatures. So, just going to stipple around some Elmer's glue. But yeah, if you top coat your miniatures like I do, I've never had like flock like fall off or anything like that. So I know some people do this thing where they like spray it with adhesive afterwards, and I've never had to do that because I top coat everything. So top coat's like just like thin clear white paint or thin clear paint, so you spray on. All right, so I'm going to take my glue, or I'm sorry, I'm going to take my turf. I'm just going to fart some on there. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. And then we're done. No, we're not. Now it's the most important part. Now we tap off the extra. Am I even on camera? Jesus. God. I'm professional. I'm really not. I like doing this. I think it's fun. So yeah, there we go. That's what we wind up with. We got some little flock there. It's good. So we're going to put him just off to the side. There we go. And there's that guy all flocked up as well. Pretty darn cool. And then we got some cowpokes to flock. So these guys, I'm going to kind of specifically put the flock in places that will help hide the pudding base, right? We got her, and we got this fox, this dude as well. Right, there we go. And then we had one more. We had a weasel. A weasel. Weasel. There she is. And again, I'm just going to try to get the flock to help cover up that pudding base. And same thing with the guys. Take her, going to fart some on there. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. And take the dude, fart some on there. And take the weasel, fart some on there. I jokingly say fart because like this stuff is so light that if you squeeze the side, it like just pops out on its own. It kind of like pops out, so. Yeah, and there she goes. Can't see that pudding base anymore. And now she's got a badass little base. All right. Tapping off is very important. It gets all the excess that didn't glue itself down. And it also winds up making you not have mounds. You can see again how it takes care of that pudding base. And then last but not least, yeah, I straight up, like, this thing of flock, like, changed how I do a lot of bases. I do a lot of like grass bases now because I just like it so much. So there we go. All right, now let's do the building. So same deal as before. I'm gonna take some glue. Burn, 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 burn. Burn, 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 burn. Gonna get some more glue out. There we go. Oh, so my phone jangled a little bit ago. Let me see what it was. It was my husband asking if I want to get ramen after he's out of the shower. Which, I mean, of course the answer is yes, right? Let's be real. Alright, so same thing here on the side, right? Because I do want a little grass on the side. And it's okay if it gets on the baseboard. Because like maybe it's growing up and you can't see the baseboard anymore, something like that. Yep. All right, there we go. And same thing as before. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. You can probably hear the container wiggling now. There we go. And then going back, tapping it all off. And there's some getting stuck here on the wood, and it's getting stuck there just because there's texture paint there, but I really don't want it there. So I can just brush it off. Or if I wanted it perfect, like to get it perfectly off, which I don't, it's okay if there's a little bit on there. If I wanted to get it perfectly off, I could take a wet brush and anything that's not glued down would stick to the wet brush. And it would work pretty good. But yeah, there we go. There's our building. All right. And then all this stuff here that's left over, what we can do just dump it right back in. And it looks like I got a little out of it by accident, but it's okay. All right, now we're gonna break out some other like things. Here we've got some tufts from the army painter here, and we have some clump foliage from Woodland Scenics. So I like these tufts. They got like little flowers on them. I think they look really neat. So we're gonna put some of those down. Now, if you want to be mega fancy with your tufts, if you hit them with a shade after you put them down, they like really blend into the ground and it looks super good. I don't always tend to do it, but if the regular tuft, like if you don't like how it looks on the base, try hitting them with a shade. It adds a lot. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and put these around. And these ones, sometimes they have trouble sticking. There we go. There we go. That one I'm not going to give any flowers to. Let's give the Weasel Lady a flower. I don't know why, I feel like this Weasel Lady needs a flower. I feel like she's having a bad day. Maybe she's coming to the jail to break her man out, who's been arrested for some bullshit. And then we got our little building here, and we're going to do some more flowers. Go. That's my Texas music. It's not as good as the dog theme, which was like boop 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 boop, but you know, still think it's pretty good. There we go. All right, and that's going to be it for the flowers. Next, we're going to do some wasteland tufts. So these are kind of really dead-looking tufts, but with brown bases. So they just look a little more fucked up. And the world was not made entirely out of flowers, unfortunately. So we're gonna use some of these too. And it's just gonna be little grasses growing up all around our house. Pretty cool, huh? Alright, so let's see. This fox lady, she's gonna get a wasteland tuft. And then we're going to do one more thing after this to it. There we go. There she is with her little grass tuft. And this guy's going to go wasteland tuft too. So you can see I'm like pressing down into the tuft with the tweezers, just to make sure the glue on the bottom sticks. You can also manually glue these with a dot of like super glue or something, but I've never found the need to. But if you really don't like the included adhesive, you could do that too. All right, that's it for wasteland tufts. Now we're going to move on to clump foliage. So this stuff isn't drugs. This is clump foliage. So clump foliage is how do I summarize clump foliage? Clump foliage is like upholstery foam that's been painted and covered in flock. At least I think that's what it is. And it looks like little bushes, and it does a really good job being little bushes. So, and it comes in all different sizes. Like that's a big ass clump, right? And these are much smaller little clumps. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna stick it down with a little bit of PVA. And it's just gonna be little bushes and shit like that. So. Barrel. And this is the stuff you also will use on the trees. Like I said, I can't do it yet because I don't have a tacky glue. There we go. Just a little bit on the building there. Boop, boop. And the PVA glue works really good for these because the stuff is very porous. So even though the initial hold is not amazingly strong, it will be strong once it dries because the glue like gets right into it and just like gets sucked up. It works really good. And you just kind of rip any chunks you want. And again, this is one of those products that I've had like legitimately for years. And you can see how little I've used out of it. Do we want some clump foliage here? Yeah, sure, why not? We still got glue in our palette. We'll put a little like right here. I also like to put the clump foliage like kind of on or near the grass, like maybe it's a big chunk of grass that's grown up. I think it looks pretty cool. All right, and I think I've been streaming for almost an hour and a half. Holy shit. So I'm probably gonna call it there. We're gonna take a look at our guys really quick. So we got our Desperado Foxman Renamero with his base all done. We got our Weevil lady, Weasel, not Weevil, who I think is having a bad day. I don't know why, I just get that vibe. And then we have our fancy lady about town with her fancy dress and her light. She's about to draw on some fools. And we got our steamer trunks. Just a nice little bit of scatter terrain, right? Plop it down and then be like, yeehaw, pow, 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 shoot over it, get some cover. And we got this thing here of like shipping packages and stuff too, which is pretty darn cool. So those look good. And then we did the base for the first building. That's just the building that we painted yesterday and that we built. We painted yesterday, we based a week ago, and built the day before that. So, yeah. There she is. I think we're perfect timing because I think my husband is getting out of the shower. So I will go ahead and I'm going to call it there. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a good one. And I am going to put out a standalone video for unboxing that box of tanks that I got. Just because I want to open the box of tanks and I'm tired of waiting. So they're going to get a standalone video. And hopefully we'll have enough stuff together to play Dead Man's Hand next week. Or maybe we'll do Verrotwood, the Wild West. I don't know. We're going to do one or two. But I'm going to go ahead and call it there. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one. And keep on keeping on.